The moment I stepped out of my truck, the woman with the clipboard marched straight at me, like she'd been waiting all morning. "Show me your ID right now," she snapped, pointing at my chest, like she thought her finger had some kind of power. Behind her, another woman folded her arms and said, "If you don't comply, we can call the sheriff. You'll be arrested for trespassing." I stared at them, confused for a second, because I was standing on my own driveway, my land, my rules, but they acted like they owned the entire street. The woman with the clipboard stepped even closer, as if she expected me to back up. I didn't move an inch. "You heard her," the second woman said. "This neighborhood has strict rules. We need to confirm you're allowed to be here." I let out a slow breath to stop myself from laughing. Allowed? On my own land? These people had no idea who I was. They had no idea what line they were crossing. And for a moment, I actually wondered if someone was playing a prank. But no. These women were dead serious. "That's funny," I said calmly, "because I'm not part of your HOA. The clipboard woman tightened her jaw. "Everyone in this area is under our authority. Don't lie to us." Authority. She said it like she was talking to a suspect, not a homeowner. And then she clicked her pen like she was ready to write down every breath I took. Behind them, a couple of neighbors peeked over their fences like they were watching a show. "You have 10 seconds, she announced. "ID, or we call the sheriff." I folded my arms. "Go ahead," I said. "Call whoever you want." Her face twitched in shock, like she'd never heard anyone talk back before. But what she didn't know, what she couldn't know, was that the sheriff didn't just know me. The sheriff worked for me. And this was going to get interesting. Very fast. The clipboard woman immediately pulled out her phone, her fingers shaking with anger more than fear. "I'm calling the sheriff right now," she said loudly, making sure every neighbor heard her. She wanted an audience. She wanted a scene. The other woman smirked like she'd already won. "You should have just shown your ID. Now you'll face real consequences." I leaned against my truck, calm as ever. If anything, their confidence made me even more curious about how far they were willing to push this fake power trip. A couple of kids on bikes stopped at the end of the sidewalk, whispering to each other, like something big was about to happen. "He's refusing to identify himself," the woman said into the phone. "Yes, we believe he's trespassing on HOA property. He's acting aggressive." That part almost made me laugh. I hadn't taken a single step. While she talked, the second woman reached into her bag and pulled out a stack of folded papers. She slapped them against her palm dramatically. "We have the authority to remove unauthorized people. These documents prove it." I didn't even look at them. "You sure about that?" I asked quietly. She lifted her chin. "Absolutely. And once the sheriff arrives, he'll deal with you. Maybe then you'll respect the rules." I watched her face carefully, and something clicked. She wasn't following rules. She was making them up. Fake authority, fake documents, fake threats, and she thought I'd panic. A silver SUV turned the corner at the end of the street. The clipboard woman's face lit up like she'd just summoned the government itself. "There he is," she said, waving her hand proudly. "The sheriff is here." But the moment the SUV pulled closer, I saw the driver's face, and a slow smile spread across mine. Because the man stepping out wasn't just the sheriff. He was my old friend. The one who owed me a favor so big that even he still joked about it. And when he saw me standing there with 2 angry HOA officers pointing at me, his eyebrows shot up, like he already knew someone had made a very big mistake. The two HOA women straightened up as the sheriff stepped out of his SUV. They actually tried to look official, like they were part of some real operation. The clipboard woman hurried toward him, waving her arms. "Sheriff," she shouted. "That's the man. He refuses to show ID. He's trespassing and acting hostile. We need him removed immediately." The sheriff looked at her, then at me, then back at her again. Slow, confused, almost amused. "Hostile?" he repeated. "Him?" "Yes," she insisted, planting her hands on her hips. "We're HOA officers, and he's violating our community rules. We are requesting immediate arrest." The second woman nodded so hard her badge bounced on her lanyard. "He's ignoring lawful orders." The sheriff took a few steps toward them, lowering his sunglasses. "Lawful?" he asked. "From who?" "From us," she said. "This whole area is under our HOA. Everyone has to follow our rules." I could see the sheriff fighting the urge to laugh. He turned slightly, just enough so only I could see the look on his face. It said everything. "Oh boy, they have no idea." "Okay," he said calmly. "Before I do anything, let me ask, do you two know whose driveway you're standing on?" The clipboard woman snorted, obviously not his. The sheriff nodded slowly. "Interesting." He walked toward me like we were strangers, but I could see the small grin he was hiding. "Sir," he said loudly, "these ladies claim you're trespassing. Anything you want to say?" Pause. I shrugged. "Only this. I live here." Finally, the two women burst out laughing, like they caught me in a lie. "Nice try," one said. "Everyone here is in the HOA. This land is within our boundaries." The sheriff scratched his chin. "Is that so?" "It's written clearly," they insisted. "We have documents." "Documents," the sheriff repeated. "Let me take a look." Pause. The clipboard woman proudly handed him the stack of papers she had been waving around like a trophy. He flipped through them for maybe 10 seconds. Then his whole expression changed. Second, the calm disappeared, replaced by something cold, professional, dangerous. He looked up slowly. "Ladies, where exactly did you get these papers?" They exchanged a quick glance. "From the HOA office," the second woman said. "Why?" The sheriff took a long breath, closed the folder, and said in a low voice the neighbors could hear, "Because these documents are fake, and the land you're standing on doesn't belong to the HOA at all. It belongs to him." Their confidence cracked instantly. The clipboard nearly slipped out of her hands. And then the sheriff added something that made the entire street go silent. "And before you start arguing, I'm the one who helped him file the paperwork." The moment the sheriff said he helped file my land paperwork, both HOA women froze like someone had cut the power. Their mouths opened, but no sound came out. The second woman tried to grab the folder back, but the sheriff pulled it away with a look that stopped her cold. "You two walked onto private land," he said. "You threatened the owner. You tried to enforce fake rules, and you tried to get him arrested using forged documents." His voice was sharp now, the kind he used when things were about to get serious. The clipboard woman's face went pale. "We didn't know. Someone told us." "No one told you to fake charges," he cut in, "and no one told you to impersonate authority." A few neighbors stepped closer, whispering among themselves. They'd never seen the sheriff look this angry. The two women kept glancing around, hoping someone, anyone, would defend them, but everyone stayed silent. Then the sheriff turned to me. "Do you want to file a report?" I looked at the two women. Their badges, their clipboards, their fake confidence, all of it had collapsed. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for them. Almost. I just want them off my land, I said quietly. And I want them to stop harassing people who don't belong to their HOA. The sheriff nodded, but he wasn't done. He stepped toward the women again. Hand over the fake badges, he said. Now. They hesitated, until he raised one eyebrow. Then they quickly pulled the lanyards from their necks and handed them over like they were surrendering weapons. And the clipboard, he added. They handed that over too. The sheriff opened the SUV door and tossed the fake documents onto the seat. You're both getting citations for trespassing and impersonating an officer. Expect a court date. The clipboard woman gasped. A citation? For this? For this, he said firmly. You don't get to bully people. Not in my county. The second woman pointed at me one last time. He shouldn't smile like that. He thinks he won. The sheriff gave her a long, hard stare. He didn't win. He just stood on his own land. Something every American has the right to do. She looked away, speechless. The two women finally turned and walked down the sidewalk, their steps stiff and shaky. No badges swinging on their necks anymore. The neighbors murmured as they passed, some whispering, serves them right, others shaking their heads at the whole mess. When they were finally gone, the sheriff leaned against my truck and let out a breath. I knew you'd call me sooner or later, he said. You always attract the crazy ones. I laughed. I didn't even do anything. Exactly, he said. That's what makes it worse for them. For a moment, everything felt quiet again. The warm air, the soft wind, the sound of a lawnmower somewhere down the street. Normal life returning. The sheriff clapped my shoulder. You fought for this land legally. No HOA can touch it. He paused. And no one's gonna scare you off your own driveway. Not on my watch. I nodded slowly. That's all I wanted. As his SUV pulled away, a couple of neighbors walked over, shaking their heads in disbelief. One of them said, "Man, they messed with the wrong guy." I looked at the empty road where the fake HOA officers had disappeared and smiled. I didn't fight for my home, I said quietly. I just protected what was already mine. And for the first time that day, the street finally felt like mine again.